Mike Evans will not need much help to get in when the time comes. He has 10 1,000-yard receiving seasons to start his career. That's an NFL record to begin a career. He is 85 yards from 11 straight, which is an all-time record at any point in career. Jerry Rice has the all-time record with 14 total in his career 1,000-yard season. But 85 yards for Mike Evans, and he matches Jerry Rice for the most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons in a career. It's amazing. And he has very quietly, because he is very quiet. I met him the day he was drafted out of Texas A&M by the Buccaneers in April of 2014. That morning, we had a set up at a bar across the street from where the draft picks were, and we did a quick car wash of interviews. And I remember thinking, man, this guy's quiet. And he's kind of come out of it over the past 10 years, but he's not a look-at-me guy. He's not a self-promoter. He's just gone out there and kicked ass every single year. And it's going to be impossible to deny him a bust in Canton.
Yeah, as soon as he hits the number, get him out of the game because I think they will. I expect them to beat the Saints, and I expect them to win the division. And so, get your 1,000 yards, which is a significant achievement. I'm going back and forth on this, Mike. Some numbers I understand. Why players don't pursue them. Like Saquon Barkley, I understand why you're not going to chase Eric Dickerson's record because there's a lot more to play for and the risk outweighs the reward. For Mike Evans, it's a little bit different. I think this is a great achievement. It speaks to his skill. It speaks to his durability. And it speaks to his adaptability. Now he's on, I'm trying to think of the quarterbacks who have thrown him the ball consistently. If he's drafted in 2014, it was his first quarterback, Jameis?
No, Jameis came in 2015.
2015. So I don't remember who his first quarterback was.
Well, you know what? Let's filibuster here because there's a quick way to find out. They have all the list of Tampa Bay starting quarterbacks. Here it goes. 2014, the starting quarterback was Josh McCown. Now the quarterback's coach in Minnesota. Mike Glennon started 5 games that year. It was Jameis through 2019, Tom Brady and Baker Mayfield. So he's had Jameis Winston, Tom Brady, and Baker Mayfield for the bulk of his career. There was a few Ryan Fitzpatrick games in there in 2017 and 2018. But his first year, it was Josh McCown and Mike Glennon.
Yeah, he's just reliable. He's trustworthy. He is, and he's more than. And I think I remember. You remember him coming out and having a conversation with him. Remember the way he was described. Coming out of Texas A&M. Hey, this is just one of these big wide receivers, and you can throw the ball up to him. Yeah, he's that, but he's more than that too. I mean, he's a good route runner. He's got good hands, and he's capable of some explosive plays, too. It's not just, hey, here's the big guy, throw it to him, and he'll overwhelm some 5'9", 5'10" corner. He really knows what he's doing. So I like this achievement for Mike Evans, and I'm rooting for him to get it.
Aaron Rodgers needs 1 touchdown pass to get to 500 for his career. He's been stuck at 499 for a little while. He would join Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, and Brett Favre as the only 5 people with 500 career touchdown passes. He addressed it earlier this week, and he said he's not going to lose sleep over it. It's just a number. He wouldn't play another year just to come back and get to 500, but surely he wants to just get it done, have it in the pocket before he moves on from the Jets, and I think he will be moving on from the Jets. I think that no matter what happens on Sunday, the die is already cast. The Jets aren't going to want him. The new regime isn't going to want him, and he doesn't want to be there. The question is, will he play for someone else next year, and will he have 500 passing touchdowns when he does?
I'm smiling, Mike, because, sometimes you hear a song and you can't get that song out of your head, those earworm moments. The song just never leaves. I'm smiling because I cannot, and I blame you for this. You are responsible. I cannot.
Is that the song?
Think about that too. I can't think about Aaron Rodgers without hearing "Delicate Genius." So every time, you call him the delicate genius. So anytime I hear Aaron Rodgers, I think delicate genius. I can't say I'm rooting for him to get to 500. I think it's going to happen. But this is one of those things, and no matter what he does, and we have these conversations all the time in sports. Ooh, this guy can't go here. It will ruin his legacy. We won't look at him the same. and we're usually wrong. Tom Brady is a perfect example. When he was leaving New England, oh, come on. Can you imagine Tom Brady leaving New England, going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with that silly helmet? Tom Brady's going to go there. He's going to ruin his legacy. Well, no, he just enhanced it. He burnished it. He got another Super Bowl title and proved that he could play really well into his 40s. But Aaron Rodgers, this has been one of those experiences where the shine is definitely gone. And maybe we won't look at it this way in 5 years, but next year, and the year after, when I think of Aaron Rodgers, I won't think of the MVPs, the late career MVPs with the Packers. I'm going to think about the disaster with the New York Jets. So he'll get 500, maybe he'll get 501. I still won't take away this, what he called the best 2 years of his life, won't take away what I saw this year and the unfortunate part of last year.
I don't know what happened for Aaron Rodgers away from the football field during his 2 years of living in New Jersey, but it must have been pretty damn good for those 2 years to be the best 2 years of his life. Of his life, to overcome the year he won a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP. Any of the 4 years that he won league MVP, he had 4 snaps in 23. He had a horrible season. He called it. It's been a shitty year. He said it at the press conference on Wednesday. So something else is going on for Aaron Rodgers that more than outweighs, the reason he's in New Jersey in the first place. So I don't know. There's a hell of a story to be told about the 2 years that Aaron Rodgers has had. And as you mentioned, the recency bias is a real thing. Our last memory of a guy. Shereen Williams made the case several years ago as Eli Manning was in the last year of his career. If he hangs around too long, he's going to hurt his Hall of Fame case. And obviously, Aaron Rodgers is getting in. But I just wonder, if he'd come back and play somewhere else next year, and it would be blah again. Does he lose the benefit of the mic drop, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning? There's no question. There's no doubt. We don't even need to have a discussion. Hall of Famer. Does he slip at least into the category of we need to talk about this if he comes back for one more year and it's not a good year?
Yeah, I don't think it won't affect the Hall of Fame. It won't. And Shereen, when she talked about Eli, she probably was on the right track, but then Eli, something amazing happened. The Manning cast happened. And so we saw Eli become a media personality. And sometimes that takes you the other way. Working in the media, and if it's successful and you tell a lot of jokes and you're likable and relatable, it kind of boosts your playing career. And so I think Eli was going to the Hall of Fame anyway. But this has now boosted his Hall of Fame case. As weird as that is, I think that's the case.
That's how John Madden got in. That's how John Madden got in.
Right.
As a coach.
Right.
He coached 9 years.
Had a great record. Longevity was not his thing. Won a Super Bowl, but being on TV and then the game. He probably got in before the game came out. The game just now has made him a legend. But with Aaron Rodgers, I don't think it will hurt his Hall of Fame case, but it's going to stick for a while. I mean, the scent of this Jet season, that's a stench. I should say the stench of it is going to stay for a long time. And when he said that thing, when he said the best 2 years of his life, Mike, I initially read it. I said, okay, I got to see the video. Because I just can't, I want to see the look on his face. I want to see what it looks like when he says it. And he didn't make eye contact. He was just kind of looking down. These are the best 2 years of my life. It was like one of those corporate emails. We're going to wish Bob the best and in his future endeavors.
Going to spend more time with his family.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for all you contributed to the company. Next. I just can't believe that these are the best 2 years of his life. Wow.
Yeah. And I'm sure we'll talk about this as it gets closer, but I could see some of the voters wanting to at least tap the brakes on the no-brainer. Let's have a conversation. Not that they're going to keep him out on the first ballot. Obviously, he's getting in, and probably first ballot. He should. But I could just see when you look at what they did to Terrell Owens, when you look at what they're doing to Rodney Harrison, I could see some of these folks who, and look, I'm not going to name names, but like some of these folks elevate having a Hall of Fame vote as like it's actually important. There's a lot of them that are unemployed. Like, what does it get you to be a Hall of Fame voter? It hadn't gotten you a job, and they let you hang around, and you still don't have a job. It ain't doing shit for you. And quit acting like it's a big deal. But as they say, you know who I'm talking about. As they say, no amount of power is abused like hardly any at all. They don't say it, I say it.
Oh, this is great. This is great. All right. That is right.
Joe Burrow, moving right along.
Yeah, moving on. Well, keep you out of trouble, keep me out of trouble, because I do have some people in mind. I have some names.
All right, Joe Burrow, he needs 359 passing yards to get to 5,000. There have been 15 5,000-yard seasons. Only 8 guys have done it. Drew Brees had like 17 or something ridiculous like that. The math doesn't add up, but for me it rarely does. But Joe Burrow, 359, that's not – I mean, he's been throwing it all over the place. I could see 359 for Joe Burrow in a gotta-have-it game.
Yeah, I can see this happening. And I know, with the caveat that it's a passing league and, everybody throws the ball down. This is what we do, and the numbers are inflated. Still, it's amazing that Joe Burrow has been able to do this with this kind of vibe. With this kind of vibe in Cincinnati. And I've heard you and Sims talk about this at the very beginning of the season. I think he went there, and I think he told you that it was a little weird, that things were just a little bit off in Cincinnati. And this was as early as week 1 or week 2. Just something's not quite right there. And it hasn't been. And it starts with follow the money. Jamar Chase's contract, T. Higgins and his contract. That's on offense. And then defensively, over the last couple of years, they've lost some pretty important pieces, some guys who really helped them get to the Super Bowl and almost win it. And I always think of Jesse Bates. I mean, Jesse Bates is a perfect Bengal. And they decided they just want to pay the money. So despite the atmosphere, what I'm getting at is it hasn't been, I don't think he would say in his exit interview that, the work environment is perfect. All the players have to do is just come in and do their jobs and everything else takes care of itself. No, it doesn't. I think if he's being honest, there's some things there that he doesn't love, and yet the performance hasn't fallen off. He's done everything he can to keep the Bengals relevant, and I think they're going to fall just short of making the playoffs, but it's been an interesting ride.
You mentioned T. Higgins, and I don't know if and when we decided whether to address this, but I've been fashioning a take that T. Higgins, if they make it to the playoffs, and it's an uphill climb at this point, I think T. Higgins should refuse to play in the postseason without a long-term contract from the Bengals because the financial benefit does not justify the risk. What guys get paid during the postseason is peanuts in comparison to what he's going to get on the open market in March. The Bengals have never applied a franchise tag to a guy twice. He's going to become a free agent, and he squanders that if he suffers a torn ACL, a busted Achilles tendon, any type of serious injury, or any type of injury that just takes a couple of months to rehab, and we're not quite sure that we're going to pay him big money, and by the time he's healthy, the big money's gone. It's not a popular take among fans because they just want to be entertained. But if the Bengals make the playoffs, I could get behind T. Higgins saying to Mike Brown, F you, pay me, or I'm not playing. And I don't think there's anything they can do to him because he's already earned his money in the regular season. All they could do is deny him his playoff check. Big deal. It's nothing.
Yeah, I wonder. Okay, I'm gonna say the big word, collusion. I wonder if he did that, if there would be some type of retribution from his other employers, because the Bengals wouldn't, if he did that, the Bengals wouldn't bring him back. Now he's on the open market. Would there be some kind of pushback against T. Higgins among owners who were standing up for their own? Hey, he did this to Mike Brown. He's one of our guys. This is a businessman, a football player making a smart business decision, and we don't like that. We can make smart decisions, but we don't want these guys to do it, and we're going to make them pay for that decision.
There will be harumphing. There will be harumphing with the bourbon and the cigars in the room where the oligarchs gather. But they don't really like Mike Brown. So the fact that he'd be doing it to Mike Brown might actually be a feather in his cap.
Well, I don't think they like Jimmy Haslam all that much either.
No.
But,
No.
But once he decided, I guess, it probably doesn't line up because once he decided to give guaranteed money to a quarterback,
they liked him even less.
Yeah. They went in the other direction. But they don't like. I just don't. Even if they don't like a guy personally, there are certain things that owners just don't want to. If they feel like, hey, I'm going to reward this, I'm going to pay this guy, we're setting a precedent that we won't be able to overturn or override. So let's just punish this guy. But
here's the bottom line.
I think the players
Here it is
would
in
be
a
on the
nutshell.
side. The players would be on the side.
The players would be, but the fans wouldn't be. Here's how it works. Right. The CBA is like the rules, and I'm sure we've used this metaphor before. The old board game, you flip the box, the rules are on the inside. The CBA is the rules on the inside of the box for labor relations opoly. And when the teams use the letter of the CBA to their advantage, the fans are, it's a good businessman. You're doing business. Good, smart. When the players say, oh, wait a minute. I think I see, oh, wait, this means I can do that. And, I can do, I can do this. When the players do it, boo, boo. You don't care about your team. You don't care about the game. How much money do you need? That's the problem. The same behavior, the same effing behavior. It's applauded when a billionaire does it, and it's chastised when a guy who's got 3 or 4 years of good earning in his life. That's it. No equity. This is it. You're making a good salary for 3 or 4 years. When that guy does it, he's an asshole. I can't stand that aspect of the NFL because they've manipulated the fans. They have gaslighted the fans for 50 years to line up behind the billionaires and point fingers and yell at the players.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure. Yeah, that's right. But I'm not even sure it's gaslighting because we're so selfish when it comes to the game. You know, if a guy's on the field, if the guy's on the field for too long, let's say a guy is hurt, and he's not, it doesn't look like a major injury, he's just hurt. It's like, okay, 30 seconds on the field, a minute, okay, let's go, let's get back to the game. We're just so absorbed with the game and what we want from it and our entertainment from it that we're instinctively going to side with anything that puts our players on the field. And anything that keeps our players off the field, we're against. Our guys out there, good. If they're out there for $5 million per game, oh, good for them. Out there for $400,000 per game, good for them. $75 per game, okay, fine. Good for me.
Don't pay him at all. Don't pay him at all. We'll put you in the Hall of Fame in 80 years.
Give me the game. If we're getting the game, we're happy. If we're not
Who's
getting
that
the
guy
game,
again?
We're mad.
Who's that guy that got the Hall of Fame finalist spot instead of Robert Kraft? The guy that didn't want to pay players, the guy that helped found the league at the Hupmobile dealership. I can't even remember his name now. And he's getting a better shot at the Hall of Fame than Robert Kraft. Anyway, you're right, though. You're right. I just like to say gaslighting. I like to be able to show that I can use gaslighting properly, and I didn't use it properly because they didn't need to engineer it. It happened naturally. It's one of the perks of owning a team. The fans are going to support you even when they shouldn't because they support their own interest, and it's in their interest to have the players shut up and play. You're absolutely right.
Zicky.
Ziki. All right. You know what? We should take a break. Should we take a break, or do we want to do these other two? Jamar Chase has a chance to be the 5th receiver to win the Triple Crown, to lead the league in catches, receiving yards, and touchdowns. He's got 117, 16, 12, and 16. That's a pretty significant accomplishment, but, you know, what do we expect? The guy's one of the best receivers in football.
The best. I think he's the best receiver in
Better
football.
Than Justin Jefferson?
Jamar Chase. Same school, LSU, wide receiver university.
Unbelievable.
But I would say it's 1-2. Wouldn't you take, if you had to come down, I know you're a Vikings fan, but if you had to pick one to go with, wouldn't you give the slight edge to Jamar Chase?
Don't tell Justin I said this, but yeah.
Slight.
Probably, but not by much. Not by much. I'd love to have them both. Wouldn't that be something? All right, Vikings are kind of, well, the Bengals have it with T. Higgins, and the Vikings are getting there with Jordan Addison. Brock Bowers needs 9 catches to break the records for most receptions by a tight end in a season. Any season, not just rookie season. He's got the rookie receiving record, receptions. Puka Nakua's record from last year is broken. He's got the rookie tight end yardage record. Now all he needs is 9 catches to have the most catches by a tight end in any season, and he's a rookie. Unbelievable career on tap for Brock Bowers, and he's doing it without high-end quarterback play. Yeah. Just imagine if he had a great quarterback.
Yeah, Mike, what I said earlier about Mike Evans, well, let me take that to another level. You know, Evans has done it with different quarterbacks, but they've been good. You know, Jameis Winston's still in the league, still producing, and obviously Tom Brady and Baker Mayfield. Look what Brock Bowers has worked with all year long. Not to mention, they had a 10-game losing streak. They've had chaos. They traded Devontae Adams this year. Jacoby Myers has been in and out of the lineup. He had some injuries, running back injuries. Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell back to Minshew. Desmond Ridder. I mean, it's just been a mess with the Raiders. And he goes out and justifies the pick, because I think a lot of people looked at it and said, well, why are the Raiders taking Brock Bowers there when they already have Michael Mayer and they need a quarterback? Why are they doing this? Well, now we can see why.
Well, and they got frozen out of the top quarterbacks because they were picking 13 and the 6th one went at 12 and they were screwed. I think they thought Michael Penix was going to be there and they would have taken him. They probably thought Bo Nix was going to be there, and they may have taken him. They settled for Brock Bowers, and now all they got to do is get a quarterback, and they'll have a guy who's even more special next year than he was this year. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.